step into the new year, you may be curious or excited about what's in store for you. And this 4-part New Year, New You series will help with that. And in the first class, again, I shared a meditation so you could connect with your inner and outer purpose. In the second class, we set intentions to help guide you in your actions towards your purpose. And in this class, it will help minimize the negative feedback loops and stories and domestication that might creep up while you're taking action to create that brand new you and to take those beautiful steps. So I will put a link to all the classes in the entire series in the description. So let's get started on new meaning meditation. And I saw a few other people join, so I'd love to know who you are. Let me know where you're chiming in from and who you are. So we're going to talk about meaning. What is it? What does that mean exactly? What does new meaning even mean? And how does meaning affect our lives? So let's define meaning. What is it exactly? So really, our entire lives are defined by the meaning that we make of it. So there is a meaning behind everything. And sometimes this is very obvious, but other times it may be more subtle. Without awareness, the meanings that we make or the stories that we tell ourselves are subconscious. They're a subconscious process. And that keeps people in old patterns that continue to loop throughout their lives. So you may see that as, oh, this is happening again, and it's happening again. Well, why is that? It's because we tell ourselves a certain story, and then we expect it, and then it comes again, and it comes again. So we're going to learn how to break those loops by awareness. So with awareness, we can see those patterns for what they are, which are limiting beliefs. So once illuminated, the old patterns, they lose their power. And then we're free to consciously create our beautiful lives that can lead us to well-being. So breaking those definitions, those meanings, pulling the power out of that, and then having freedom to create whatever we want. There are many ways to look at this meaning-making work. And one example is in the Toltec teachings. And the Toltecs teaching is spiritual mystic teachings and a tradition from central Mexico that Don Miguel Ruiz introduced to the world, really, the United States and beyond, through his many books, one being The Four Agreements, and many of you have heard of that. So in the Toltec tradition, it's believed that through life, we are domesticated through a process of reward and punishment. And in that domestication, we're trained to think that certain things are good or certain things are bad in accordance to what other people's belief systems are. They're not necessarily in alignment with our connection with source or our true being. So we learn these things, something that's good, something that's bad, through reward and punishment. So the accumulation of beliefs and the chatter of the mind in the Toltec tradition is called the mitote. And the mitote is similar to walking through an open marketplace. So imagine an open marketplace with many people and activities around you, different people trying to attract your attention and try and get you to their booth. And it's chaotic and there's a lot of things going on at once. And when the mitote is in the mind, it's present in the mind, it is a very similar experience to walking through an open marketplace. So the beliefs and the stories are like the vendors, and they're pulling your attention in directions that may not align with your true self. So it's really necessary to reduce the chatter and the beliefs in the mind to create a greater experience of freedom and free will. It's also important to know that usually when limiting beliefs were created, when they originally were created, they likely served us and they helped, they protected us in some way. And while the beliefs were being formed, again, they served some purpose. We created them for some reason. And at the time, they were very relevant and true. With this in mind, beliefs are grounded in emotion and life experience. So they have a lot of roots in our subconscious. So the same beliefs that served us in childhood may lead to limitations and painful emotions later as adults. So when we lose sight of how to distinguish false beliefs from true beliefs, those beliefs then limit our possibilities and keep us small. So if we created something to protect us as a child and we grow and those scenarios aren't present anymore and we're still acting out of that belief system, that's going to keep us in a limited place. So this can really lead to suffering because we're not in alignment with the truth of who we are. So it's important to approach ourselves with compassion and understanding and just a kind of innocence and a curiosity when looking closer at these belief systems. So that's something to keep in mind as we go forward. Additionally, the brain doesn't only interpret present moment experience by trying to make meaning. It also seeks out data that validates those pre-existing belief systems, those things that we created as children. It's going to keep searching for them. And this is called confirmation bias, or in the words of Abraham Hicks, the law of attraction. What we believe, we're going to attract. And this really affects the way that our lives unfold and the reality that we attract to us. Because what we believe, we will see, whether that belief system is true or not. So it's important to understand that there is an attraction process. So if you're saying, well, it's true, it's true, it's true, it's true because you believe it. That's the only reason. If you didn't believe it, it wouldn't be true. So it's just something to think about. So let's just talk about an example. Imagine an 8-year-old girl and her parents start fighting a lot around the same time that the family moves to a new school district. And there's not much stability at home, but school, it's not much better. So it's unstable at school and at home. And she's really too shy to make friends. And then the kids start bullying her. And as a teenager, she carries these beliefs with her. And her childhood experiences have led her to believe that the world is an unsafe place. She doesn't fit in with others. And she's just simply unlikable. And she carries these belief systems into adolescence because the meaning she made of those experiences as a young girl were that unlikable, the world is mean, etc. And if you carry that into adulthood, you carry false beliefs into an older age. So now at 45 years old, let's just say as an adult, life is obviously different from when she was 8, but the brain's confirmation bias led her to spend decades subconsciously seeking out evidence that supports those belief systems of an 8-year-old. So at the same time, really ignoring the evidence that contradicts it. Maybe she got married. Maybe she has a really beautiful group of friends. All of these are contradicting experiences to those belief systems. So this bias, it may have also impacted even her memory, favoring the recall of information that confirms her limiting beliefs. So she only remembers what she believes. and not other times where maybe somebody was really nice to her that gave her something from their lunch or was nice to her on the bus or something. So this is really an example of how limiting beliefs can affect us through our entire lives. And when we carry limiting meaning from childhood into our lives as adults, it really causes a lot of stress and anxiety. So let's talk about how that can happen. So stress and anxiety from limiting belief systems. So with further, dissecting of these beliefs, we really learn that thoughts that we tell ourselves from the past and that domestication, those trainings, are the very root cause of stress and disease. So it's our belief systems that create stress and disease. And it's the thoughts that are the problem and not the situation or actual scenario. It's what we believe that creates this stress and anxiety through the body. And it is how we interpret each situation and the stories that we tell ourselves about these incidences that are creating the stress. So it's really something to keep in mind, especially when you go into a fight-flight situation. What are my belief systems that I'm telling myself right now? And see if you can shift them. Even if you tell yourself something completely off the wall, something completely different, see how your body chemistry changes when you tell yourself different belief systems. And we'll go into a few ways that you can start doing that in the Q&A section. So we also see how these trained beliefs really impact action, our actions, our behaviors. If we believe something, we're going to act differently than if we're in connection with our true self. And we can really see the unfolding of our reality and how it changes when we hook into these belief systems. So looking at those repetitive thoughts, it brings awareness to them so we can start shifting and changing them. And it builds a deep understanding of our truth, and it really sets us free. So we're then able to really choose beliefs and meanings that are in alignment with our highest and greatest self. So important to we don't want to dwell on these belief systems, but to watch them in a way that's of the witness, where you're unattached to these stories, is really beneficial, because you can really see and start asking yourself, is that true? Is that true? Is that a true belief system? And a lot of times when you start digging into them, you really notice some of them are quite ridiculous, really ridiculous. So let's talk about consciousness. So at certain points along your journey or making new meaning, you'll receive glimpses of what's possible. And you'll be able to see where you are on that spiral of conscious evolution. So again, questioning these belief systems really allows you to step into that witness state, which is a more conscious state, and start dissecting some of these belief systems that don't serve. And the new meaning process, it really releases what doesn't serve you, and it really strengthens your connection with your expanded self, which is a great incentive to clear some of these belief systems. All right, beauties. So the good news with all this is that it's possible to see from a new perspective. And you don't have to go back into your past to find the origin of your limiting belief system. It doesn't matter where it came from. You can just choose new belief systems in any moment. And that just comes from awareness, and building consciousness around these stories. So in conclusion, really building awareness of the stories that you tell yourself is the key to shifting them. So at that point, you have a choice and free will to decide what meaning you'd like to make of any given situation. And this allows you to manifest a happier and more expansive experience of life in connection with your greater self. So it's so important, and it just has so many incredible benefits. So today we're going to practice a meditation intended to help you release your beliefs that you created about yourself, any definitions, any stories that you created. This is a great opportunity to release that. And not only will it help you release meaning that you've made, but it will also help you awaken to a higher level of consciousness too. All right. So before we get started, let's just consider our mantra for today's meditation, which is AHUM. And this is the Sanskrit mantra that means I am. And when we drop limiting beliefs, all that's left is I. Not I am with a list of stuff behind it, but just I. And this is your true nature. So let's begin and gift ourselves this meditation that's known as a Neti Neti process. Neti Neti means not this, not this. So it goes deeper into I am not this, I am not this, I am not this. So this is a great meditation. And it's a meditation that allows us to release what we are not and connect to what we truly are, the greater I. So this is where we can allow knowledge to dissolve into knowingness. Knowledge to knowingness. And that's what we're going to do today. So let's go ahead and begin and gift ourselves this guided meditation and release whatever we are not. All right, beauties. So let's get started. I'd love to know who's joining. Even if you're on the replay, I would love to hear from you. I will get your comments anytime you post them. So if you have a comment or a question, feel free to take my prompts, put your name in the comment section, and I will get them, and we can have a great communication whenever you watch this video. All right, beauties. So let's go ahead and get started. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready to release stories that are not you? Great, I'm ready too. So let's go ahead and get started on this beautiful meditation. You can go ahead and grab any props that you need, blankets, blocks, bolsters, etc. Go ahead and grab those now. And get comfy. You can find a comfortable posture. You can sit comfortably in a chair on the floor, or you can lie on your back. Close your eyes. And if you're not comfortable with your eyes closed, you can just have a soft gaze with your eyes partially closed. So go ahead and let go of anything that's not important right now. Feel the weight of your body against the floor or the chair. And just breathe. Full, deep belly breathing. Inhaling and exhaling. Notice the inflow and outflow of your breath. Bringing your awareness to your body. And notice any tension you might be holding. And just allow your breath to wash away this tension. Every breath, just allowing it to wash away the tension. And begin to release your thoughts and expectations with each inhalation and exhalation, allowing yourself to become more relaxed, more comfortable, more at peace. Allow your body to feel safe. And let's begin. There is a meaning behind everything. Sometimes this is very obvious, but other times it may be more subtle. The Eastern traditions tell us there's a reason or purpose for everything. Nothing happens to you. It happens for you. And anything that has happened is necessary because it happened. Everything happens to support you in some way. And understanding that concept can help your well-being journey. There is a story about a queen and her chief advisor, a wise priestess. The chief advisor was a great believer of everything having a meaning behind it. The queen was more skeptical. And sometimes became frustrated by her advisor's claims. One morning they were eating breakfast together. The queen was peeling an apple when the knife slipped and cut her finger. The queen complained loudly, but the chief advisor, as usual, said that there must be a reason for it. The queen wasn't in a good mood that day, and cutting her finger didn't improve things. Listening to the advisor was the last straw. She called the guards and had the advisor thrown into the dungeon. Later that morning, the queen decided to go out for a horse ride. Still annoyed, she rode away from her escort and deep into the forest. And soon she was lost. Suddenly, she found herself surrounded by a group opposing tribeswomen, and they decided to take the queen to their camp and offer her to their goddess. While preparing her for the sacrifice, one of them noticed the cut on her hand. She had a flaw, so she couldn't be offered to the goddess. And reluctantly, the tribeswomen released her, and she found her way home. When she reached her castle, she immediately had the advisor released and brought to her. She apologized to her and said, "You were right. The reason I cut my hand was so I wouldn't be sacrificed. But you spent the day in the dungeon. What was the meaning behind that?" "Well," smiled the wise advisor, "if I hadn't been locked up, I would have been riding with you. And when the tribeswoman caught you, I didn't have a cut on my hand." So our beliefs, concepts, and past conditioning create limitations in all areas of lives, and especially how we interpret situations and events. Do you believe you have free will? Or are you stuck on auto repeat most of the time? To enjoy life fully, we have to be open to all possibilities. Start looking for the hidden meanings or deeper truths. This doesn't mean you shouldn't use your common sense and past experiences, but listen to your memories rather than being used by them. When challenges arise in your life, instead of having the same knee-jerk reaction, pause, take a breath, observe yourself. Is there an opportunity here for change and growth? Let's go a little deeper. Do an exercise to take us beyond the beliefs and stories that we create about ourselves. So allow your body to relax even deeper. And let go of the thoughts that aren't important right now. Whatever follows I am are the stories that we create about ourselves. We get attached to these stories. They are not who we really are. They limit us and distort our view of life. It's time to start dropping some of them. The story we're most attached to is our name. Begin silently repeating I am, followed by your first and last name. Now drop the last name, your family history, your lineage, and then just repeat I am and your first name. Now drop the name completely, releasing the stories, all the limitations, and the beliefs. Just repeat, I am, I am, I am. And we drop everything. All that's left is I. This is your truth. Now begin repeating silently the Sanskrit vibration for I am, which is AHUM, AHUM, AHUM. Allowing the vibration to take you deeper to that place when knowledge dissolves into knowingness. Aham, aham, aham. A place where the true meaning of everything spontaneously reveals itself. Aham, aham, aham. Good, and we'll continue to meditate in silence. Please continue repeating the mantra, AHUM, and I'll watch the time, and when it's time to return, I'll chime the soft bell. AHUM, AHUM, AHUM. It's time to release the mantra. Take some time to sit restfully, inhaling and exhaling slowly. Keeping your eyes closed, slowly begin to bring your attention back into the room that you're in, into this time, into this place. Gradually bring your awareness back to your breathing, back to where you're sitting or lying. Good. Take a few more deep breaths. You can start moving your body, wiggling your toes and feet. Wiggle and stretch your fingers and hands. Stretch and move in any way you like. And when it's comfortable, you can gently open your eyes. And be here, right now. Namaste. Welcome back, beauties. Is your meditation comfortable? Good. So go ahead and thank yourself for giving yourself the gift of meditation. And I thank you for joining me today. We're going to transition to Q&A. I have one question that I hear often, so if you have questions, feel free to type them in the comment section now. I would love to hear from you, to have a deeper conversation with you. If you do have questions, let me know. The question, how do you go further into this? What are a few other practices that I can do to bring awareness to my limiting stories? And there are a few. So we talked about journaling. And the journaling aspect just brings awareness to the belief systems that you have. So that's one aspect, journaling. Another one, so I'll just start by saying that readiness to change is really a prerequisite to transforming these ideas. So readiness, it really can't be forced. You have to be ready. So I suggest choosing a belief system that's not too big, and choose something that you're aware of, that you're ready to let go of. That's not a huge thing. So start small is what I'm trying to say. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not bothersome at all and 10 being really intense, just allow your choice to be around a 5, or ideas that aren't so charged for this exercise. So I have one exercise for you to practice, and it's called thank you and release. It's a thank you and release exercise. So again, we're journaling in this exercise. So you can write in a journal or piece of paper, write the original story, or you can write a biography of your limiting story. If you like to write, this might be fun for you to write a biography of the limiting belief system. Or you can just write the simple sentence or phrase or whatever the story is. So write down the story, or if you want to go further, you can do a biography of the belief system. And then take a moment to call in your more expanded self or your archetypes. You just want to put them on and have a greater aspect of yourself present. And then just sit in silence while you do this, calling in your archetypes. And then repeat your limiting belief, whatever you wrote on your paper or the autobiography. Just repeat that to yourself and really feel the dissonance and the pain of staying stuck in that belief system. So at this point, you have a choice. You've called in your greater self and you have your story, both at the same time. And as you connect with that story, do you feel the uncomfortable feeling of holding on to it? And then you thank it for protecting you when you were vulnerable or when you needed it. And you can even pause and write a love letter to your limiting belief. Is something that really helped you. You can just say thank you, and you can even go deeper onto the thank you, but really deeply thanking it for protecting you. And when you're ready, you can imagine giving it to your more expanded self or your archetype and allow them to take it from you. Giving it to that greater aspect of yourself and allowing them to just go with it. And I suggest you can burn the paper or discard the paper in whatever way you want, and just continue to feel it leaving your body and your mind as your archetype just takes it from you. So this is one way that you can release those belief systems. It's a ritual that you can do to release your belief systems. So practice that. So write it down on a piece of paper, the belief system. Take some time to call in your archetypes or your greater self. Thank the belief system and give it to your archetype, allowing them to take it. And then you can burn the paper and imagine it releasing even deeper. All right, beauties. So that's a good practice to put into motion. If you want a ritual for this, that's a beautiful one. So any questions on that, let me know in the comment section. And then I just want to briefly say, how can you access the full coaching series? So this, again, is a 4-part coaching series. The first class, we focused on purpose with the Discover Your Life Purpose meditation. The second class, we focused on setting intentions with an intention setting meditation. This class is the third class, called New Meaning Meditation. And the fourth class, I'll share an Illuminate Your Shadow meditation. So look for those coming up classes, the one coming up class, and watch those past classes if you haven't, to really enjoy the entire New Year, New You coaching series. The links are in the description of the video. And you're also invited to go deeper with me into teachings of meditation, yoga, pranayama, Ayurveda, by joining the Phoenix community list. So receive weekly goodies, news, and hear more about courses and events that I'm sharing, soon to come in-person events on Kauai, Hawaii. So I'd love to keep you updated on that. So I'll share the link to join the community in the comment section on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, then you'll see it in the description of this video. So check out that link, just click it, sign up, and you're in, and I will keep you updated. I really look forward to connecting with you in that way.